before the show starts, we were way off on the M&M bets.
Yeah.
M&M, that's way off.
Yes, we were.
Welcome to the Midday Show. I'm Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. And today, I'm sure at some point we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. Maybe we'll open up the show with it. But today is a Super Bowl Sunday recap. There are so many things, and this is not going to be a football conversation. I sent you some of the questions I have. I thought it was truly an event. In all words, when you look at who was there, what happened, the show, the commercials, the trailers, the start of it, the anthem, The Rock. Like, I really thought it was a spectacle. So I think it's something worth, like, from beginning to end, kind of recapping and diving into some of this stuff, pop culture, society, all of these different things. But before we get to that, happy Valentine's Day, Mark. How are you feeling today?
Am I your Valentine? Is that what you're saying?
You can be. I'm not turning it down.
I mostly, like, right now I'm okay. When I walk out the door, I feel cold.
Like
whatever the weekend was. Now you see it's supposed to get to like 50 again. And then we're supposed to hit a little heat wave here in mid to late February. But today there is no heat anywhere. It's freezing. So riddle me this. And I know I've said this when I run for president of these United States.
Okay.
The first thing on my platform is going to be the day after the Super Bowl is going to be a holiday. And next Monday is President's Day.
Okay.
Really? We couldn't have done it today? And it just works out today. It would have been day after Super Bowl. It's Valentine's Day. Like, what is it? Is it that hard? Am I the only one that figured this out?
So it's funny because one of the questions I'm going to ask you is about the 2-week gap from the AFC and NFC championship to the Super Bowl. Drives me nuts. And I actually think it makes for a worse product. But the point you're making is very, very valid. Why we can't have Monday off after the Super Bowl. One of the other questions I wanted to talk about today is, like, is this America's biggest event? I would argue yes. I would argue that this might be the number one event in America. Can you think of a bigger event?
The only thing that what challenge is it? WrestleMania?
WrestleMania. No, I mean, I did think about, like, 4th of July fireworks. Like, if you think of, like, an event where people are all participating at the same, quote unquote, the same time, because I know the 4th of July is a little tricky. But, like, when you think of an event, I think the Super Bowl merits the biggest one. And, you know, I don't think a Monday off. This is the worst. I agree with you. Certainly Monday should be off. I would double down and say Valentine's Day should never be the day after the Super Bowl. Ever. It has been, I'm a mess when it comes to this stuff in general. Going from, like, the Super Bowl Sunday right into Valentine's Day, it's a mess, and I'm not even, like, that great at it. I would imagine there's a lot of people scrambling today, more than normal.
Well, I was going to say, there's always a lot of people scrambling. One of the things about Valentine's Day, and I'll just help you to sort this through, it's always on the 14th, so you know it's coming. Like, it doesn't, like, you know, Here it comes. It's not like Easter. You don't know when Easter is. Sure. You got to buy a calendar. You got to look through your phone. It's there, and it's coming. And, like, you don't have to wait till the day before to buy something.
I hear that. I hear you. Again, I think the Monday after, I think Monday's the worst, period. Like, just to have Valentine's Day on Monday, it's just not good. It would have been better off on Sunday. I would have been happier
on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, that would have been better. That would have been better than the day after the Super Bowl.
No, because now we'll take it into real world things for the economy. Just think of how many businesses, because it's Monday, how many restaurants and just stores in general are going to have their best Monday of the year, because Mondays historically suck in the restaurant business, as you know. And if it would have been yesterday, like, they're counting on Valentine's Day, they're counting on the Super Bowl. And even places, like a lot of places, especially now with takeout, it would be fascinating for me to know a place that a couple years ago, a place like Buffalo Wild Wings, who has sponsored us throughout the years, what their percentage of eat-in to takeout was. And now after COVID, I'll bet they did takeout all the live long day. So
yeah, I'm trying to tie that to Valentine's Day, but I don't know. Nothing against anybody who goes to Buffalo Wild Wings for Valentine's Day,
but if it would have been both, right. And yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings is probably a bad example for Valentine's Day, but there's a lot of the bar restaurants that probably did all kinds of takeout for
Super Bowl Sunday, and now they're doubling,
and they would have lost the Monday business. So I would actually say there should be okay, this is my second platform now, that Valentine's Day can never fall on Super Bowl Sunday. And if it happens to be the 14th, we will Ouija board up St. Valentine and explain it to him.
Well, because there's a very simple solution to this, in my opinion. Super Bowl Sunday should just always be the Sunday before President's Day. Do I have that correct?
Well, yes.
And by doing so, correct me if I'm wrong, by doing so, the off weekend of football would fall within the Valentine's Day realm.
Well, what they might do, and what's been discussed is because the NFL season always starts the Sunday after Labor Day. There are no games on Labor Day weekend. So they always start, well, it starts Thursday, but the first weekend is Sunday after Labor Day. So, so the only way to push it further is to add an extra bye week. And now that they've gone to 17 games,
why not?
What has been discussed is giving each team 2 bye weeks during the season. Yeah, and then that would spread it out. But however they concoct it, Super Bowl Sunday should be the day before President's Day every year. You know, Washington and Lincoln would have loved football had it been around back then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's go through some of this stuff, and you and I are going to try to be quicker. Let's just start, because I have some serious questions. Should the Super Bowl always be in LA? We're going to get to that. Was The Rock opening corny or cool? I have some strong opinions on that as well. Let's start here. Rams, Bengals, the game. Just some quick stuff about the game. I found the game, I don't want to say the game was boring. However, I found myself sometimes struggling to maintain an enthusiastic mindset over the game.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a highlight reel game. You could see the Rams, when a defensive front can control the ball or control the line of scrimmage as much as they can, it can make for a boring game or a boringer game. I mean, it's 3 points down to the wire. They're losing by 4. They score with under 2 minutes to go. It certainly was full of intrigue. There's no doubt about that. Before I go any further, the one question that needs answered that I don't know the answer to: national anthem over under. How did it turn out?
Over. It went over.
And you said you always take over.
I typically take the over. It's just once they're out there and they're singing and it's their moment, and you're gonna hold that note as long as you can, it typically goes over.
Was it close?
Not really. There were the TikToks and the different things that I saw people. I mean, they were going well past the note.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was over. So it was over again.
So you started out like gangbusters.
Yeah. So here's my hot take on like the actual entertainment of the game, not football itself or how talented the players are. Some of these players, like, they're just not very exciting. Like, I think Matthew Stafford was great. He's not that exciting. I think Joe Burrows is an incredible story. It's very entertaining, but his off-field stuff is way more entertaining than his on-field stuff. He's a good quarterback, but like, I found myself, and the same thing like with Kupp. Like, I think Kupp's incredible, but he's not, like, if it wasn't for like a Jamar Chase catch, and I'm trying to think of like, I mean, there was only a handful of times where I was like, these are exciting guys. They're great football players. It wasn't like this overwhelming, exciting like game. And I think there were 2 reasons for it. And the first one was, I don't think the dudes playing are your typical exciting. They're not highlight rail guys. Stafford's good, but it's not like this highlight. Like, Burrows is great and he's fun, but it's not like this highlight rail jamming player.
No, I get it. I mean, one of the aspects is, they say styles make fights. And when you're the Bengals, they're just trying to get rid of the ball because the pass rush was going to be such a factor. And when and defensively, the Bengals were just trying to limit the big plays. So they played very deep and conservative and made the Rams stay patient. So just the styles of the thing. It was a lot like the Alessandro fight Saturday night. If you saw that, the MMA main event was very because it was very defensive oriented, and the guys, it was very Floyd Mayweather-ish. Like, you're never going to hit me, and I'll hit you enough that I win. So I get that, but it's still, as a football guy, like, this is how I judge it. People are commenting about the commercials and texting about the commercials, and I saw very few commercials because I wanted to see the game so much that I'm going to the bathroom and I'm going to the fridge and I'm doing all this stuff that you usually do during commercials. So I really didn't see many of them.
No, so this leads perfectly into my next question. Does the 2 weeks off from the AFC to the NFC, does it make for a less exciting game? And then you'll be able, because I think you're on the opposite side of this, but for a very good reason. I think they have so much time to prepare that it just makes it hard for the offense to have these game-breaking plays, because they're so prepared and they're so ready and they're rested. And it's just so to try to crack this defensive code, especially the way both defenses were playing the other night, it just makes it, you get a lot of checkdowns, you get a lot of dump offs, you get a lot of the runner and the defense meeting at the line of scrimmage. They're just so prepared after 2 weeks. I almost want it to be more chaotic. I almost want teams to not be ready and be so that they can go over the top and they can catch defenses off guard. Now, the flip side, and I think the argument that you are going to make is, if you're a true football fan, this is the greatest chess match all year.
Yeah. I mean, my first thought is it just gives, because we're coaching high school basketball and we know guys are banged up. I can only imagine what NFL guys are like.
Sure.
And just the extra week gives them a chance to heal up better. And some of these guys aren't going to heal up for 10 weeks until they finally get to rest. Mm-hmm. But it makes it better. So that's one of the aspects too. But no, I do agree with you. It gives them so much time.
Mark, they were so ready for everything.
Yeah, they played each other once during the season, so that helps too, because sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But no, well, they weren't ready for the halfback option pass. That was cool.
No, but again, that, it's a gadget play, it's a time and situation play. I thought Stafford was great. I even thought Burrows was great. Fine. There were a couple people kind of bashing Burrows. I thought he was fine. I just when you're not a X's and O's NFL diehard, and then all of a sudden you sit down to watch this game and there's nothing over the top and there's no defensive holes, and it's just it's just so chess, right? It's so checkmate, this move, that move, that there's no real big, exciting highlight reel. They're just few and far between. I just wonder if the 2 weeks actually hurts the final product.
I guess it just comes to what style you're looking for. I like games. People talk about, I love the game that's 48-45. I hate those games. I hate the games where you can kind of score at will, and it's almost like a soccer shootout. You're just waiting for someone to screw up. I like I would much rather watch a baseball game that's 4-3 or 3-2 than one that's 12-10. Because
you're a baseball and a football guy. You are seeing things that other people are not seeing, and I totally get that.
But I still want, when someone scores, I want it to be thrilling, and not an aspect of they're inside the 10, they're going to score a touchdown unless they drop a pass or unless they commit a holding penalty. That, when they score, they really earn it. So I do like that. But I do get there was not the game itself wasn't scintillating, but it was close, and it was, it was not Buffalo, Kansas City, or the Rams not, it just wasn't what the championship week was. But nothing. I don't think anything ever is going to be.
Should the Super Bowl always be in Los Angeles?
I never. If you're not the first one that brought this up. You're the first one that I've heard brought it up.
Okay.
It's not a terrible idea, or even just to bounce it between Vegas, LA, because people don't realize from here, Vegas, like people here like drive to the beach for the weekend or whatever.
Right.
People from LA drive to Vegas because it's like 3 hours. So that may be because the star-studdedness made
great.
it cool. Made it really cool.
So cool. It almost makes me wonder if they shouldn't just like New York, like, but see, New York doesn't have a dome. Do they have a dome in New York? Do they have somewhere they can play it? See, if they had a dome in New York, I would just say East Coast, West Coast, back and forth, every other. One on the East Coast, one on that, and just put it in the two most star-studded places that you can put the event. Because just seeing it, honest to God, I think that maybe made the game feel like some of what I was describing to you, and I'm trying to blame it on the 2 weeks, or I'm trying to blame it on like good players not being highlight reel players. It might have just been the fact that there was so much to see off of the field that it made what was happening on the field seem insignificant for stretches at a time.
No, I'm with you. I never heard anyone suggest it until now. And I know the media people say, well, that's not fair. Why do you put, I mean, it's not like because of weather, they don't send it north. I think they sent it north once to New York and they just decided this is a bad idea.
Didn't they do Minnesota or something?
Yes,
1 year?
but they have a dome. Okay. But they'll play it inside up north, but they'll never play it outside. Like it ain't going to Foxborough or Buffalo.
Sure.
So the immediate thought is it's not fair, but you're rotating it between, like they've had it in Jacksonville. They have it in Tampa. They've had it in Atlanta. They've had it in Dallas. Like, so it's not, the more I'm thinking of this, now that I'm 120 seconds into your suggestion, I like it. And I might do Vegas too, because I think Vegas would be just as star-studded.
I think it kind of saved the game last night. And I'm not trying to be like,
no, I get it.
Like, I'm not trying to exaggerate. I really think it kind of saved the product. I think if you're an NFL employee this morning, I think you have to wake up and like the LeBron stuff's going viral, the Shaq stuff's going viral. That just the people that were willing to do the halftime show that maybe wouldn't have been willing to, if it was in Minnesota or if it was in Jacksonville. I think that anybody who wakes up and is an NFL employee and says that that wasn't a better product because it was in LA, they're lying to themselves.
Is this your idea or did you see it somewhere else?
I was watching it and I remembered everything that I woke up about excited to talk to you about this morning was basically because the game was in LA. Like, I'm excited to talk about The Rock. I'm excited to talk about halftime. Mentioning like LeBron and Shaq, and like the weather was awesome. Like everything about it, the more I thought about it, I was like, LA kind of saved the Super Bowl for me personally.
You got my vote. I would do it every other year between LA and Vegas. And I think you're right. I think you're onto something there, Jeffrey.
There we go.
You should send a memo to Roger Goodell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let him know. Was The Rock opening cool or corny?
See, I love The Rock, so I thought it was cool.
You thought it was cool. You also like wrestling, right? Like you like, yes.
But I don't like, I didn't watch wrestling. Like I started watching wrestling when my kids, I watched it when I was a kid, and then I started watching it when my kids started. So the whole Rock era, like I've seen enough of it, but it wasn't, but I just thought, the thing I love most about The Rock is as an actor, his comedic timing. He is really, really good. And he's just not this like former guy who's become an actor and all, because we've seen lots of guys. He is so genuinely talented. And whether it's the Jumanji movies or I think Central Intelligence that he did with Kevin Hart. Did you see that?
Sure, yeah. Are you?
I think
now are you done gushing about The Rock?
Well, anyway, yeah, I love The Rock. So go ahead.
So no, I like The Rock too. I felt like I thought it was corny. And listen, I I don't think The Rock is corny. Like, this is not me saying that he himself or his acting or his persona or the way he carries himself is corny. He's one of the coolest individuals in the world.
But
I'm shocked that he didn't think it was corny. I'm surprised that he went ahead with it because it felt very like Fortnite-ish, like very video game-ish, like very like XFL. It didn't, when I think, like, again, this is America's largest event, to have someone almost stand up in the corner of the ropes, essentially, and give like this wrestling style introduction. Because even when they do it in boxing, it's like this very formal introduction when they're coming to the ring. So I know what they were going for. And I know like having The Rock do it almost makes it automatically cool. Like I can't argue with the coolness of The Rock, but something was off with it. There was go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll say this. The weird part for me was that the guys were on the field waiting.
And he was
could
doing
almost tell the 22 guys on the field were like, dude, would you shut up so we can start?
Yeah.
If he would have done it before they ran out of the tunnel,
yes,
I think it would have been awesome.
You know what? I think you nailed it. I think that's why I feel the way I felt. Like, here we are waiting.
I'm sitting there thinking, even the guy, because there's guys on the field that grew up watching The Rock wrestle, and part of them are like, God, this is really cool. But Dwayne, we're ready to go. Like we've been working at this since last July. We're ready to go. So please get off the field.
No, I'm with you. I think you solved that for me. I think if they move it up, I think I'm good with it. Halftime show. I've never loved and hated something so much in my life.
I felt guilty this morning when I did it. I just have this thing about, like, I knew there's going to be a lot of non-productivity. So I had to do basketball stats at some point, and I didn't know after the game how it was going to end and if I'd be texting, if I'd be this and that. So I went to my kitchen table and I turned it on my little TV in the kitchen, and I did basketball stats for the whole half hour or whatever, however long it was. So I had it on and I heard it, and my first comment is one you said to me earlier about Eminem and how wrong we were with Eminem. I'm not a hip hop guy. So
I know.
I'm not even sure I could, if you would have said Kendrick Lamar, I probably heard of him before this, but but I knew all the other ones. I thought it was cool from all that it was that they opened. Snoop Dogg was first, right?
Snoop Dogg. Oh, well, Dre was on first. Snoop Dogg opened.
Well, okay. Yes. Snoop Dogg is the first one I remember. Like, I thought it was cool, but it's not my genre. But I don't have any complaints with it, and I can understand why some people thought it was awesome.
So it was awesome. There's no disputing that. If you are a hip hop fan, or you're somebody who grew up like with that at that like very early setting age, it was awesome. I'm not here to poo-poo on the halftime show. It felt very short compared to other shows. I don't know if that's because it took longer for them to set up. I don't know if it's because there were so many acts that you bounced around and you didn't realize how long they were actually out there or not. But it felt incredibly short. And I felt like they almost diminished the headlining, because I think I almost would have preferred if it would have just been one person show, and then you had these people playing off of him or her. And so I'm not saying more Eminem would have made a better show. I'm not saying like less Snoop Dogg. I'm not here to say like how they should have plugged and played that, but this should have, like, the Eminem was on the screen for 60 seconds. And if anybody wants to dispute that was not the most important 60 seconds, they're insane. 5 minutes of Eminem, 8 minutes of Eminem. Eminem should have just been the opener, the middle, the ending. It never should have. And listen, I thought 50 Cent showing up was fantastic. Mary J. Blige is maybe one of the most underrated singers we have in America. It's Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. He literally produced live a halftime show. Almost an impossible task. Dr. Dre did it. It's not that I'm knocking anybody on the stage. I just felt like in my head, what I think most of us had, what would happen It just didn't happen. And so while you're watching this great thing and you're like, oh my God, this is incredible, it ends and you can't help but think to yourself, that's not what I was expecting.
Well, you're right, because you either get, it looked great in the advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all this talent. You know, it's almost like a basketball team that has 5 shooters, and you're like, oh my God, how can we lose? Well, because you can't guard and you can't defend, because you can only shoot one trip at a time. So I do get your point that it may have been all spread out. Just to twist this a little bit, I think one of the growing, obviously Super Bowl halftime is what it is, and it will always be what it is because we've talked the event. The next big thing like this that is growing immensely is between games of the Final Four on Saturday night. I think, was it Miley Cyrus last year? They keep, because they don't have the exact time constrictions, because you can tip and warm up. You know, they can play a game at 5 and they can play a game at 9, and you could have this act go on in the middle and they could go on for 45 minutes.
Sure.
You know, halftime can only be so long and be fair to the players in any sport. But between games, if the guys show up at the arena and they know, hey, you're going on the court to warm up at 8:15 and tip-off is going to be at whatever, then that's cool. So I think we're going to see the NCAA do better and better and better at this. And they have that advantage that the show is not congested because, again, I'm not a hip-hop guy, so it didn't really matter to me. But to you, imagine if this show's 45 minutes long.
No, exactly. Yes. It couldn't have been long enough. I feel like whether it was 5 minutes or 25, at the end of it, I was going to be like, that was too short.
Right.
So I'm with you. Last two things. I thought the set was incredible.
This is the thing that I don't get. And again, I had it on in the background. I kept looking over and I was like, because when Snoop came out, I looked right away and, you know, all this. I don't know. The people are like, it is the worst halftime show ever. Again, for the 5th time. I'm not a hip hop guy. I don't know how you could not at least enjoy it, appreciate the history of it, the nostalgia of it. Like, I don't know how you could hate it. I really don't get that.
I don't think, because there's just 2 quick things about it. But to your point, I don't think people understand not only how good Dr. Dre is, but I don't think they understand how important he was to music and to where we are at today. I don't think people understand how good he is at the clarity of sound and what he's able to do with music. I think people vastly underrate his importance to music. That's my opinion. I think they have no idea. I'm not saying music is better because of him, but the freedom and the creativity and what people are able to do now with music, it never would have happened without Dre. It just wouldn't exist what it is today. And I think people of older generations struggle with that. To them, he's just some guy standing in front of a board. But to someone like me, I mean, he's literally the idea of creative freedom in pop culture and in music.
Well, there's people, and this has happened throughout time, the people who like classical music and who like big band music and swing, who got in, like, the next thing. There's those old people who thought rock and roll is stupid and the world was fine without it. And, you know, then there's those old rock and roll guys who are like, you know, hip hop is a waste of time and the world was fine without it. So there is that. You're right. There will always be that segment of society that just because they were happy before, they just fail to acknowledge. But no, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Last 2 quick things. I thought the set was incredible. One of my favorite sets they've ever had at the Super Bowl. It was simple, it was clean, but there was still stuff going on. I really liked the set.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
Didn't need flying people. Didn't need all this. Just put them in the middle. Let them do their thing. The last one. Did you see the kicker for the Bengals stayed on the field?
I did.
Okay, I didn't know if you had seen that or not. I thought that was great. Do you think he had to clear it first? I think he had to have said at one point to the head coach, like on last Monday, hey, do I really need to be in the locker room for halftime? He had to have.
I will say this. I think kickers are a lot like closers in baseball. They're like goalies in hockey. They're like, you do whatever you want to do as long as you're – I mean, people don't know that. There are closers who are sleeping in the clubhouse during like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning because they're just like, they show up in the bullpen in the 7th inning. If it's a blowout, they don't even show up in the bullpen. And like you've heard the story when he ran on the field before the game-winning kick, and he's like, "Hi, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship game," and he has become, and he's playing it like he's a rookie. Right. He's the only kicker drafted. But he's playing himself into this cult hero, and he's making every kick he takes. So that helps too. But like, if he's that good, could you imagine? Like the coach is like, hey, whatever. He probably doesn't even care if he shows up to practice. And I've heard those stories. I think it was Jason Elam when he was with Denver. They said once he was a veteran and he was good, he'd show up on Thursday. He would kick like 5 from the right hash, 5 from the left half, 5 from deep middle, and he would leave. And they would be like, that's all we see Jason all week. So I think it was so much fun. And I think he's that guy that's like, hey, you guys go in the locker room, you talk about, all I have to do is kick it, and I'm going to make everyone anyway. I thought it was awesome.
I'm with you. Commercials, you said you didn't watch them.
I barely watched any of them.
It's the best part. I like football. The commercials, you can't leave during the commercials.
I did. I saw the one with the whole Doritos Tostitos that Marshawn Lynch hosted.
That one was decent. Here's my top 3. Did you see the General Motors with Dr. Evil? They did the Austin Powers reboot.
No, but I knew he was going to be there, but I didn't see it.
Okay, really, really well done. They brought back all the evil characters. They played their parts. Really incredible. The Michelob Ultra bowling alley. Did you see this with all the professional athletes? I thought that was I don't
Serena?
know what. Yes, I thought that was really, really well done. And it was funny without hitting you over the head. I think some of these, like they're trying so hard to be funny. That one, I think, hit a lot of like really good spots without trying too hard. And then my last one, I don't know why. I died at the Uber Eats. Did you see the Uber Eats?
The one where she was eating the lipstick?
Yes, where they're eating all the products because they assume that it's food, but Uber Eats will deliver. They'll get you anything. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, I guess. I've never used Uber Eats, so I didn't know what the limitations were. I thought it was a whole new avenue of it that like now will deliver non-food, or have they always delivered non-food?
I think they've been doing it, but it's that idea like when your name is Uber Eats, it's that idea. How do you get people to recognize it? I thought from a marketing standpoint, it was ingenious. No one who saw the commercial is going to forget that you can order toilet paper when you get your Uber Eats. Nobody.
No, I get it. And it was Stifler's mother, right?
Yeah, she was in it as well.
Which, anytime you've got Stifler's mother, you're onto something.
There you go. And then my least favorite one, and I just didn't think it was funny. I thought they tried too hard. Did you see the Lay's potato chips with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen?
No.
It just seemed like they were trying hard. It was the other one I really disliked had Schwarzenegger in it, and it was the one with the electric vehicles. And I didn't love that one. These ones where they just have these like guest spots and they just hit you over the head and just like, I don't know. So I'm out on Lay's potato chips. I thought Rudd and Rogan kind of bombed on that one. And then I thought the Schwarzenegger one wasn't great either with the electric cars. He's playing Zeus. I thought that one was kind of like it just wasn't great.
So
there's your commercial breakdown.
I'll tell you this, and I'll say this off the air so no one else hears it. The fact that you've come on here and all you've talked about is like how much you love the commercials and how much you love seeing all the celebrities, and you didn't really care about the game. This is not your most masculine moment. This really.
I disagree.
I sounding very feminine as you discuss your watching of the Super Bowl.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with me sounding feminine. Second of all, I completely disagree. I think what it said is that it really saved the game, because there have been Super Bowls in the past that I have watched and I was like, this is not a great product, but the show is saving it. Vice versa. There's been some years where like I have gone to the bathroom during commercials because the game has been so intriguing and great.
They're driving down the field down 4 with they're under the 2-minute warning. Like, what do you want?
In that game, I'm going to remember 2 plays a year from now. And 5 years from now, I may not remember a play from that game.
Well, that's fine. You know, when the Eagles won, all anyone remembers is Philly, and
no, I get that.
You know, I will always remember the holding call on the Bengals at the end, which was crap. But I'm sure Brett Crosby.
But that's not because it was a good play. Like that was just a bad
because it was circumstance. Crap. That's what it was.
This is how I know. I'm not saying that the football was bad. The football was good. This is how I know it was a boring game. The play of the game was a Matthew Stafford look off, and then he just hit Kupp kind of going down the middle. And when that is like your like high profile like play of the game, it probably means that there were really good football being played, but it wasn't exciting.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There was no David Tyree where the ball sticks to his head. There was no even Leon Lett when he's running into the end zone and Don Beebe knocks the ball away. Now, I do get that. It's a valid point. Yes, the game lacked for memorable moments.
Real quick, the only other thing I had down here that we didn't get to, and you might not even care, just movie trailers, because a lot of movies always come out. I'd already talked to you about Jurassic World. Lord of the Rings on Amazon. They're doing a television show, Rings of Power. Are you excited for that? No? God. Not your cup of tea?
I hated Lord. I think I've told you it's my 15th. I watched Lord of the Rings once to give it a try. And I kept watching it. It's endless. It's like 7 hours long. And that's why I kept saying, like, it has to get better. It has to get better. It has to get better. And then the credits were rolling.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst. Nope, the new movie from Jordan Peele. Have you seen this?
Yes, I saw the previews for that.
He is. I'll give him this. I don't even know if the next movie is going to be good. I enjoyed his first two, Us and oh my god, I'm blanking on it. Almost
Look
movie
out,
of the year.
Get out.
I really, really enjoyed those two. So when I saw the Nope trailer, he's so good at, like, you kind of know what you're going to see, but you have no idea what you're actually going to see. The way they do the trailers, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He finds a way to, like, he takes a song and makes it as creepy as possible. He's so good at what he does. So I'm all in on the Nope movie from Jordan Peele as well. And I already told you,
Us is good.
I enjoyed Us. There's some aspects to it that I understand why people didn't love it, because he definitely dives more into like the horror genre. Get Out was more of like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Us takes a step more into the actual horror genre.
And you love horror.
I actually don't, but Jordan Peele is so creative and he's so good. You and I have talked about this before. I really just like the best of things. Like, I hate horror, but Jordan Peele is so good at it that I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like, I want to see what he's doing with it. So yeah, I'm all in on that one as well.
I'll give it a shot then. I will give it a shot.
There you go. Good. A bunch of Marvel trailers, a bunch of DC comic trailers. I'm not like, I don't want to say I'm over it, but I'm kind of over it. Like, I kind of like when they come out, and like if I get to see it, I get to see it. But see, I should be more excited because I love the last Spider-Man. So I don't know why I was so like blasé about the DC comics and the Marvel trailers, but I don't know.
For those of us who are never like the comic book people, we've been over it. So
really,
yeah, I like. Well, I love the original Christopher Reeve Supermans when I was a kid. I like the Iron Mans. I like the what's his name? Who used to be Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. I like them but now there've been like 9 Spider-Man movies, and there's real life, there's cartoon, there's and it's you can't even keep track.
It's been a rough go as of late. And now
I thought the first Wonder Woman movie was dumb.
The first Wonder Woman movie is great.
No, it's not great. I don't think it's great at all.
And I don't even
like
love
Black Panther. Now I do, and I've told you this. I really like Deadpool because everyone has to like Deadpool because it's great. And I liked Venom. I liked Venom a lot more than I thought I would. But
that's good.
Yeah, I don't need any more.
My favorite part is when we start reviewing stuff and you just start listing off the things you like. Like there's
I'm trying to give you a ground floor here.
It's not like it's, but it's never like I didn't like Wonder Woman. I thought the film, I thought the filmography and the director, and then it's just always like, yeah, I didn't love Wonder Woman. It's like, like, do you want to give us some context to it? Let us know why.
Because I didn't think it was very interesting. I don't know what else to say. And that's it.
Like with the football
game, another one that I heard was really good, and I was just waiting for it to get good, and I'm still waiting.
I'm just saying, with the football game, like, you'll tell us why you liked it or why you didn't, and there's some context to it. And then with movies, it's just like, hey, I like this one and I like that one. I like this one, but we never get the reasons as to why.
Well, I mean, when you don't like it, there's kind of the things you do like, you can tell why you like it. Okay. You know, the things you don't like, you can't like. I don't like seafood. Why don't you like seafood? Because I just think it tastes like crap. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. I can't really.
Is it salty? You know? Is it the texture? Is it like do you need different sauces?
It's not the taste. Like, it's the texture.
Do you need it in the pasta? Like, what do you like? All I'm saying is there's context to everything. And I'm just saying,
no, I don't need it in pasta. I don't want it in pasta.
We get context from you. We get more context from you than what we usually want, except with movies you like and don't like. When we get to the movies you like and don't like, we don't get any context. We just get to hear that you like or don't like them.
I didn't like Wonder Woman. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like Wonder Woman, but I thought the movie sucked.
We'll talk about Valentine's Day tomorrow. I'll let you know how mine went tonight. I'm going to try to cook tonight, which is always an adventure.
I'm worried for you.
I hate cooking. It's like my least favorite thing to do.
Then why? Why? Why are you doing it then? Why are you doing it to yourself?
Because I think by doing it, she will appreciate it because she knows that I am only doing this because I really like her. And so it almost says more that I do it than I go take her to dinner. If I take her to dinner, first of all, it is no different. It's no different than any other night we go out to dinner. And if I cook, it shows something different.
It is different, and I'll tell you why it's different. My ex used to, she was a restaurant manager, bartender back like in her college days. And she would say, like, I have no idea why people go out to eat on Valentine's Day because they cut the menu in half. Like in a place that she was in a neighborhood. It was kind of like the old corner of where they were. A neighborhood bar that was a good restaurant. That was this cool place and whatever. And she said we cut the menu in half to make it easier on the kitchen staff because it's packed all night and we raised the prices. So you have less selection, you have more hassle, you're going to have worse service because it's packed and you're going to pay more. So come the day before, come on the 13th or come on the 15th. But people are just like, so you never go out to eat tonight. That's idiotic, even though everyone will. I don't get, there's also a level of if she knows that you suck at it and you hate it, that she feels honored that you sucked at it and hated it for her. Like, I don't get why that's like, if she sucked at something and hated it and you were like, oh, but you're doing it for me. So that's great. Like, wouldn't you be like, no, honey, don't do that. Like, why would you do something you suck at and you hate?
If she knew about it, she would say that, but it's a surprise. Like, she doesn't know. Like, she knows. Like, hold on. She knows I'm going to do it because I have done it in the past. However, it's not like a planned thing.
Now, are you making something? Because see, I would be good with it, and I would make peanut butter and jelly with, like peanut with something, like cheddar chips on the side. And like ice cream for dessert. Like if you're doing something like that, maybe SpaghettiOs. SpaghettiOs, very underrated meal. SpaghettiOs out of the microwave, stuff like that. But if you're trying to do a real meal and you suck at it, like it's probably going to suck.
And just for the viewers and listeners, you are single, correct?
I'm single.
Okay, just wanted to make sure everyone knew that so we had the full context of your statements.
I will say this. One of the things my ex and I did very well was Valentine's Day. We both realized the ridiculously of it. And early in our relationship, we put a $6 price limit on it, which included the card. So as cards got more expensive, but you had to come like between $5 and $6, but you had to buy stuff that like really worked. And so some years it was the discount bin of the CD rack where you get something for $5. Sometimes it was like, like a thing of candy that they liked, or, something, but the whole, it was $6 limit, and it actually brought like creativity and fun into it because you laughed. So that was it.
There's a video on TikTok, if you can find it, of a couple going to the store. They're standing in the card aisle. They're looking through, they both pick a card, they put it in the envelope, they hand it to each other, they open it, they look at the card, they hug, they kiss, and then they both return the cards to the thing, and they walk out holding hands. And I think that is perfect.
It's brilliant. That is brilliant.
It is brilliant. Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show today. Thank you to Weiss Marcus for being our sponsor. And be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all your local news.
That's it. Stay warm for 2 more days, and then it's coming. Heat wave is on its way.
I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. We will see you guys